The episode 4 of Creature Commandos has just been released, and it's a really cool episode that focuses primarily on our beloved Weasel, who also has a very sad past. But besides focusing on Weasel, the episode also shows the development of other moments that will unfold until the last episode. In addition, there are some references to the DCU. So in today's video, we will analyze this exciting episode titled Chasing Squirrels. But before we start, don't forget to click the like button, comment below, and subscribe for more content like this. Also, follow us on our other social media platforms, Instagram and Threads, where I also bring a lot of news about this universe that we all love so much. Now, without further ado, let's get into our analysis. The episode begins with a scene of Rick Flag saying goodbye to Princess Alana, and we see in this scene that they are really having a serious relationship. He says he needs to take Cersei to the United States so they can question her. Meanwhile, the princess suggests that they could just execute Cersei once and for all. I found it very strange for such an innocent princess to suggest something like that. It seems that the princess is hiding some kind of secret, which we will learn more about later in the episode. Rick then bids farewell to Princess Alana in a very sentimental way. Back at Belle Reve in the United States, we are introduced to John Economos, the same character from the Suicide Squad movie and the Peacemaker series. Economos is then interrupted by lawyer Elizabeth, who represents Weasel. She wants to know where her client is, in this case Weasel, but John Economos tries to lie to her by saying that Weasel is sick. In this part of the episode, we have confirmation that the events from the last episode of Peacemaker are canon here in the DCU. The team then arrives at the prison, and Elizabeth discovers that Weasel was actually on a mission. Meanwhile, up above, we see jealous Frankenstein watching the team from a helicopter near the prison. When he sees Bride talking to Rick Flag, he immediately assumes something is going on between them. Here we see that Frankenstein's love for Bride leads him to jump to conclusions. We also see that he is a bit insecure about his appearance because he gets jealous of Rick Flag's beard, which causes him to act rashly and start attacking his companions. Returning to the lawyer, we see that Weasel recognizes her, showing that he does have some personality despite being an animal. He is then referred to as John Doe by Elizabeth, which is a name given to people without identification. Elizabeth then gets into an argument with Rick Flag about whether Weasel is really innocent or not, since they mention that Weasel killed 27 children. Shortly after this scene, we see a flashback of Weasel's past that shows roughly what really happened. However, Elizabeth disagrees with Rick Flag's opinion, saying that Weasel is innocent and was wrongfully convicted, and that there is no concrete evidence proving that he actually killed those children. Rick Flag then gives up on the conversation and lets Elizabeth take Weasel. Here we see that Frankenstein killed his companions and is now going after Rick Flag, even writing his name on his hand. In the next scene inside the prison, we see Cersei being interrogated by Amanda Waller, accompanied by Economos and Rick Flag Sr. We also see that with her hands tied, Cersei cannot use her powers. This justifies that scene from the third episode where Weasel attacks her so quickly that she can't conjure magic with her hands. I know many complained about Cersei being nerfed in that scene, and I think she was, but this was also a good justification for why Cersei was defeated by Weasel. Amanda Waller then asks Cersei what she intended to do by invading Pocolistan, and she reveals she was there to save the world, but Rick Flag thinks everything Cersei is saying is nonsense. Waller then asks Cersei what exactly she wanted to save it from, and Cersei responds that she wanted to save the world from Princess Alana Rostovich, as she has concrete evidence that the princess is a very bad person. Rick Flag still doesn't believe a word of Cersei's, as he is all smitten with Princess Alana, but still, Cersei assures her that what she's saying is true, and she even plans to show Amanda Waller the future. John Economos then says that based on her record, it's possible she might be a seer. While all this was happening, Weasel was in a meeting with his lawyer, who tries to make him remember the past by showing him photos of the children he supposedly killed. This works, leading us into another flashback. We then see a group of children playing in the schoolyard, and one child quickly notices something in the bushes. They even approach it. Weasel's a bit scared, but when one of the children offers him some food, he comes out of the bushes and becomes friends with them. Back in the present, I really thought in this scene that Weasel was having feelings, but actually he wasn't. He immediately takes the photo and spits it out. We see that his time with Elizabeth has ended, but she still promises to bring justice for Weasel. Cutting to another part, we see Cersei preparing to show Amanda Waller the future. Even with her hands tied, Cersei manages to project this vision of the future she has in mind. And here, folks, it's total madness because we have this tough version of the princess commanding an army of soldiers dropping thousands of bombs on the United States. We also see that she's accompanied by Gorilla Grodd and witness people being massacred. She even kills all the politicians in the White House. Then we have this scene showing various heroes impaled. We see Superman crucified, Starfire, Mr. Terrific, Wonder Woman, Supergirl with the look of the comic woman of tomorrow, Hawkgirl in a different outfit, Robin Damian Wayne, Booster Gold, Peacemaker, Vigilante, and Batman. Honestly, after seeing this, there's no way Princess Alana could defeat so many heroes with this army. I think this plot will only be for this series. But if such events were ever to happen in the DCU one day, it could only involve villains like Darkseid, Brainiac, or even Mongul. I don't see Princess Alana as a major villain who could truly intimidate for this first chapter of the DCU. Returning to our analysis, we see Amanda Waller completely horrified while Cersei has tears in her eyes after witnessing so much massacre. Amanda tells Flag and Economos that she believes in this vision. She then calls in an expert on Amazonian islands who says that 10 years ago, Cersei predicted a tsunami would happen in Themyscira, and it did happen. She then states that the sorceress cannot forge the future but can only see it. Even after all this, Flag still doesn't believe anything. However, Waller orders them to go back to Pokalistau to kill Princess Alana. Flag then says he's out, but Waller suggests they find another leader, who will probably be the bride. In the next scene, we see the bride and Phosphorus talking while Nina suffers from having her food stolen. However, the bride doesn't feel good seeing her friend suffer and goes directly to attack the poor gorilla, killing him. So John Economos shows up to inform them that they have a new mission. While Rick Flag is on his way home, he tries to talk to the princess, but he runs into a problem. Frankenstein appears and starts attacking him. We have a really cool fight sequence here. But after that, we discover that Frankenstein is not bulletproof in his eyes. Flag tries to understand why he was attacked by Frankenstein, but after some conversation, they realize it was a misunderstanding. Things calm down, and they even have tea together while discussing their relationships. At this point, they become friends, and Frankenstein even says that Flag will help him find his bride. I really liked how the interaction between these two characters was handled. I think Frankenstein, with his spoiled and impulsive personality, will now have a sort of father figure in Flag. Next, we see the team in the helicopter heading to the princess. Here we see that they are already very close, so the bride casually tells Nina that the new mission is to kill the princess. After this, we have another flashback featuring Weasel. We see Weasel playing with some kids when a guy shows up and perceives him as some kind of werewolf. One of the kids notices that the school door is open and they all rush inside, but the guy, afraid something might happen, quickly runs for help and grabs a gun. While the kids are playing happily, one of them lights a match that starts a fire when it comes into contact with some liquid. The guy bursts in, thinking Weasel is attacking one of the kids. He quickly shoots at the creature, hitting a tank full of fuel and causing a huge explosion. The police arrive at the scene while inside, Weasel, filled with fear, tries to help one of the surviving kids. He then tries to get her out of there quickly, but the police stop him by shooting at him, and he accidentally leaves the child behind. Back in the present, Nina asks what he might be dreaming about, and the bride says he must be hunting squirrels. The episode ends with Nina petting Weasel. Well, that was our review of episode 4 of Creature Commandos. It was an episode that really showed how people jump to conclusions too quickly. It was an emotional episode, especially regarding Weasel's story. Here we realize that Weasel has always been innocent and wasn't responsible for killing those children. He was just an innocent creature in a wrong society. Nevertheless, I really enjoyed this episode. The series still maintains its quality, so don't forget to hit the like button, comment below, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.